I'm trying to allow more to manifest for myself. And I'm not sure, every morning when I wake up, I try to do that meditation where I think of myself as being happy and just feeling happy and joyful. And I bless my thing. Oh, that's another question I want to ask.
Finish the one you're on.
Okay. I try to feel that sense of ease and the sense of happiness and joy. And I just try to so I start the day that way. But then I watch NCIS on Netflix. I don't know if that's counterproductive or not, because...
Well, there's a word that you have commonly used in your meditating communities. If you've taken the time, and we don't mean a lot of time, we mean 15 minutes a day for a little while, to center yourself so that you are really in flow with your own well-being and your own resources, and so you have that balance of energies between you and you, then you can get out in the world and you can collect data without upsetting yourself that much. And in fact, that's an optimum experience, because you will never hear us say, come and meditate and withdraw so that you have no exposure to anything that's new. We want you to be out there where the contrast is. We just want you to be steady in the contrast. And so, if you're taking pleasure or enjoyment from anything that you're watching, no matter what anybody else is saying about it, then maybe you're wanting to attract some information. Maybe you want clarity about something. Maybe it's your inner being helping you get ready to be 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 ready. Don't make a decision that any particular action is right or wrong. Just let yourself be inspired to it. And if you are, and here's the thing, if you're enjoying it, then there's no disruption in your balance of energy. But if you find yourself worried about it or frightened about it or uneasy about it, then that's an indication that this exposure to this particular part of life is upending you a little bit. Everything that we're talking about, you see, we don't want to get into a conversation or hold workshops on right or wrong action. We want you to live life and make your own decisions about what you want. And then what we want to do is to help you understand the existence of your inner being, understand the way law of attraction works, and learn to focus your thoughts and your energies in a way that is satisfying and therefore productive to you. Because we know there are a few things that we know for sure. You're not ever going to get it done. There is going to be a continual stream of contrast that's going to bring more desire. So, for example, in your quest or thirst for more satisfaction in coming into alignment with who you are, you're seeking out different things to think about, different ways of approaching the creative aspects of life. And so you want to do that, but then you come up short, you feel a little uncomfortable because you have this much money coming in and it's not enough to do all of the things that you want to do. So you've exposed yourself to some contrast. And in that contrast, you launch a rocket of desire. You ask for more. And immediately your inner being lines up ways, lines up means for you to be the receiver of more. But so often, people don't let the more in because they're complaining about the not enough, or because they think, in this case, that the Social Security is the only vortex through which your well-being will flow. Well, it isn't, you see. So if you can hear us and believe us, acknowledge, we don't expect you to believe it all at once, but let the universe show you how when you're ready to be ready, this happens. And when it happens, acknowledge it. And then get ready for more, and then watch. And before you know it, more is flowing into your experience, but it comes in such a steady, incremental way, proportionate to the amount of allowing that you are able to muster within yourselves. You're hearing the theme of this conversation all day here today because we so much want you to pull yourself out of the action phase, which is where's this money going to come from, and just into that soft, easy place of wouldn't it be nice if, I would like it if, and all kinds of surprising things will happen. The other day, someone was telling a story, 2 women at the same seminar wanting to come to a seminar and neither one having the money to do it. Both feeling rather optimistic about it because they'd been listening. They knew that they needed to be in a soft place. They wanted to be in a soft place about it. And so they were in what they described to all of us as a feeling of anticipation. the first girl especially, not worried about it. And so she is walking with her friend, a friend, in fact, who talks about law of attraction with her frequently. They were taking a walk, went out to enjoy the day, went out to do something that didn't cost any money, getting ready to be ready, noticing the beautiful day, feeling good about the beautiful day, breathing in the beautiful day, getting more ready to be ready, talking to one another about law of attraction, getting more ready to be ready, really having a nice time with each other, getting more ready to be ready. Even the one woman telling the other, there's a seminar that's happening in Chicago and I really want to go, and I'm getting ready to be ready. She wasn't using those words, but that was the tone of their conversation. They were walking through woods with leaves all around, and there's something under a leaf, it looks like, and she pulls it out, and it's a diamond earring, a big one, a really big one, too big to be real at first they thought for a minute, but it was real. $9,000 diamond. She was ready to be ready. But if she'd been complaining and whining and worrying, sometimes you get so worried about things that you paralyze yourself. That's what wanting something and doubting something does to you. It puts you in a state of paralyzation. Don't even want to get out of bed. You're not ready for anything. You're not ready to be ready. The other woman tells a story that she also wanted to come. A friend of hers was going to help her out with it, and helped her out, in fact, with the flight. Taught her how to fly standby on something that she had going on. So the girl gets to the airport and she's waiting. Everything went so well because she felt like she was ready to be ready. We weren't using those words in those days, but that's the way she was feeling. And she went right through the security checkpoint so easily. There weren't lines anywhere. She got right to her gate, and she was flying standby, which means she didn't really have a paid ticket, but if there was a space, they were going to let her go at a very reduced rate. And so she didn't get on the plane. But it didn't upset her because her momentum was such that she still remained optimistic. And then she didn't get on the second flight either. But she was still so ready to be ready that she didn't lose her connection. She didn't lose her belief that it was going to work out all right. And so then she called her friend who was boarding a plane in another city. They were going to meet there. And her friend said, well, why don't you ask them if you could fly maybe over to New York or something? Maybe there'll be more flights into where you're going from another city. So she went to the service center and she suggested that. And the gate agent there said, well, where is it you're trying to get to? And she told her, and she said, wait a minute, I think I've got a plane going there. Hold on a little bit. She came back and she said, yeah, I can get you on this flight. So the woman went down. She was the only passenger on the plane. They were moving an aircraft from one place to another. The captain, as they were taking off, said, ma'am. The flight attendant stood in front of her and did the just for her. And so all kinds of wonderful things unfold. Things come from places that you cannot see. That's the thing about the vortex. It's full of everything that you want, and you could call it potential because it hasn't manifested yet. But we don't want to call it potential as if it's future and call what has manifested as present, because what has manifested is past tense. Really, where the juice is, where the flow is, where the life is in the getting ready to be ready. And once you catch the hang of this, you're going to begin to notice that getting ready to be ready brings satisfaction. And then getting ready again brings more satisfaction. And getting ready again brings more satisfaction. And if you are incrementally savoring what's coming to you, then what difference does it make if you're over here in the full manifestation where you will also feel satisfaction, or if you are somewhere along the way where there is also satisfaction? And once you begin doing this, what you're going to discover is once the manifestation explodes into your experience, it's not going to be that crazy of a feeling. It's just going to say, oh, it's like the next logical step, because I was ready for that. Ooh, it felt good too. And I was ready for that. And oh, that really felt good too. I was ready for that. I remember when that idea came. Oh man, I like that so much. When that idea came, and then I told my friend about it. Oh, that was such a good conversation. And then the magic began to happen. It's like everybody in the universe that came anywhere near me had a piece of something good to give to me. Ready to be ready. Thoughts turning to things. Yeah.
Awesome. I like to bless people. Am I efforting when I'm blessing people, or am I working as a cooperative component with the law of attraction?
Well, here's the thing. If you're steady, if you're ready to be ready, and you see someone and you feel like giving them a blessing, then of course it's advantage, because you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You're holding them as your object of attention, and it is beneficial to them. But if you see them in need of a blessing, you cut yourself off from the path. You cut yourself off from the energy.
Okay, question there. I'm driving along the freeway, and I love to drive, and I'm an extraordinarily good driver.
Yeah, because you're in the receiving mode, ready to be ready.
I just love it, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm going, well, bless all these people, bless all these people. And you know, like especially when the traffic stopped, now I know they want some help.
Let us put it to you this way.
Okay.
And this is going to shake you up just for a minute.
Okay, I'm ready.
They don't need your blessing because they've got a direct route.
I know.
But they don't know it, mostly. So when you are really in the receiving mode and you are offering, you're yielding, you're letting someone in, you're waving them in, you're blinking your lights, you're sharing the freeway with them, you're appreciating them, you're looking for the positive aspects of them, you're smiling at them, your heart is joyful, you're inspired. You'll be inspired to be in the right place at the right time. You know what you'll be led to? When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on like that, you'll be inspired to rendezvous with others who feel the same way. Ooh, and oh, that little pod of drivers moving through a city, that's a lovely thing to behold, because it's like you're doing the Virginia reel. You're just dancing with each other. Do-si-do. But if you are seeing them as in need, you can't focus upon something going wrong and stay in the receiving mode. And sometimes you fool yourselves a little bit, because you see, this alignment with source energy is not like a college degree where once you get it, you get to nail it on your wall and it's yours forevermore. It either is or it isn't in the moment. And you can tell by how satisfied you are. So when you describe yourself as you described yourself, and we know, and you are so joyful as you are moving down those highways, you're in the receiving mode. And that's why you're a good driver. That's why you're intuitive. It's why you can anticipate what's going on. It's why you're in the right place at the right time. It's why traffic opens up for you. It's why you have good drives. It's why it feels good to you. You say, satisfied, 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 satisfied. But there's something going on with you, and we want to just touch on it really, really, really lightly. And it's the way you came into this conversation, and what you heard that you wanted to talk to us about healers, is because other people have been in the same place that you're at, where you want to take this energy of source and you want to direct it to people who need it. And it just doesn't work that way, because don't you think, since they've got an inner being who's flowing to them all the time, that if their inner being can't get through to them, you're probably not going to either?
I know, you know, I just love what I do. I don't really care.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
You know?
That's perfect. In other words, you got no dog in the fight. You're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You're blissful. Things are flowing through you. You're radiating well-being wherever you go. And law of attraction is bringing you to those who are ready for you. And you see what the best healing is. There are so many people who are just ready to be ready for you. And they didn't even know they were ready to be ready for you until you were there ready. And then the vibration of you and the momentum of them activated something within them, and they had a new experience. They had a new wonderful experience with you. They were ready for you, you see. When Esther first began receiving us, and different people would bring Jerry and Esther different things that they were learning and receiving in other places. And Esther would say, why are they lying? Because she could feel the power of what she was getting, and she believed, because of the process in which she was receiving it, she knew that she was getting it from somewhere other than from her own conscious mind. And when she would read things that were different, or hear things that were different, or mostly hear things that felt different, she would say to us, Abraham, why is this teacher lying to his students? Why are they making this stuff up? And we said, every teacher is ready for different students. If everyone was ready for the same, then it would be a very much less contrasting world that you are all living in, you see. But the way it works, everybody gets to be wherever they are, and that's wonderful. And your inner being can lead you from wherever you are to where you're ready to allow yourself to go. There are no limits for you. And you understand that you are eternal beings, and that you never get it done, and that you can't get it wrong. Then there's no big race to get anything done when you put into it this desire for satisfaction, which is the same thing as to say the desire for alignment with my inner being, which is the same thing as to say I want to be, in every moment that I can, be an extension of my pure positive energy, which is to say I want to be the uplifter that I was born to be, which is to say what you've been saying to us.